Hello, my name is Navjit Sohal, and today I will talk about airport security and its importance, or two questions relating to it, which is first, what have I learned from the PowerPoint regarding airport security, and second, what could I suggest or what idea I can suggest or recommend when it comes to enhancing the airport security in general. But before that, let's have a minimal discussion about airport security. So, airport security is one of the most fundamental aspect of aviation, as it is what makes sure that safety is not compromised by any means of external interference. Although there could be instances wherein breach of security could be seen, the aviation industry always tried its best to do something about such instances where an airport or airline or aircraft safety was breached or was compromised, like let's say enhancement in the use of tools and equipments, promoting protocols, or actually coming up with regulations that might help one be more sure of who has the right let's say materials in the baggage, or who is eligible enough to actually fly in that certain airline or in that certain flight without causing any problem or any type of obstruction or any harm to anyone that could be in that flight or in the perimeters of the airport in general. So I've learned three things from the PowerPoint. First is more about the airport security personnel as to what their importance is, knowing that these are the people responsible for the screening and making sure that everyone, or like every passenger does not have any bad intentions towards the airline or the people in general. I think they have the most, let's say, like not like a burden but a huge responsibility into making sure that whatever will happen on board the aircraft is actually safe and nothing, like let's say the fear that could be like a terrorist might, let's say, place a bomb or start an attack or hijack a plane. I think they are the like number one, let's say, personnel or stakeholders that we should actually commend for, as they actually take this initiative, or they try to do their job in a way that they make sure that nothing such will happen at the end of the day. Second thing I learned is about the CATSA, which is Canadian Air Transport Security Authority, and its job is to protect the public by properly screening all the baggages, or by regulating protocols, or let's say regulations, in order for the airport, let's say the airport personnel to be more, let's say, be more systematic when it comes to making sure that every baggage is right, that every passenger has good intentions, and just a normal passenger without that won't cause any problem in the flight, or that won't actually, let's say, harm the integrity of anyone that could be in that flight as of the moment. And as to how CATSA is actually like the number one authority that could be responsible behind as to how the security at the airport works, or what are the protocols, or let's say the rules, or the systems, or the process that a passenger or an airport staff might have to follow in order to meet the standards of being able to fly at the end of the day. And third and lastly are the airport agents and their ability to actually look into bags and identify whether there's something that could be very, let's say, suspicious about, or let's say as to how, or like we could also say as to how they try their best to actually make sure that whatever is in that baggage is actually safe and won't cause any harm once the flight flies over, or won't be a cause to any life being in danger. So I think their ability to actually be able to identify not only the common ways of how these certain tools or materials could look like, but to actually nitpick each and every part of that baggage is something not everyone is, let's say, capable enough, or like has the ability to do so. So it is a really, let's say, a very risky yet a very challenging and very a very important thing to do, as it also promotes, or as it also helps in making sure that we're talking about the safety of the people, we're talking about the safety of the airport, of the aircraft, and even the airline and the passengers in general. And that's something that, let's say, these three authorities, like the airport security personnel, CATSA in general, and then the airport agents who try to check baggages, I think these are the three main people who actually help a lot in making sure that aviation security or airport security is met at its best. So what could I recommend when it comes to enhancing airport security or aviation security in general? So as you all know, yes, they have implemented many ways of making sure that whatever is done at the airport is, let's say, safe or very systematic, and it is to make sure that there's nothing to worry about once the flight takes over regarding a baggage or how the intentions of a certain passenger could be. However, I think some people do take advantage of the fact by thinking that once they're over with the screening, nothing can stop them. There's nothing that they should fear about coming forward. So I think what I could recommend is actually trying to do something with the aircraft as well, in a way that once you start, like for example, if like once the boarding starts, wherein in the ramp, wherein passengers enter the aircraft, they could also provide, like, let's say, a gadget there that could scan the people or the passengers and their let's say carry-ons properly, or in a way that it would be able to help them detect if ever there's something like dangerous, or that they're carrying with them, or anything that might be very sus that could actually cause some sort of danger on the aircraft or while the flight is all above us. And I think they should do some enhancements to the aircraft itself to make sure that once a passenger enters, they're able to identify whether he or she is carrying something with him or not, or and if let's say if something that can't be detectable, then provide some sort of screening at the, let's say, at the beginning of the entrance as well, just to just to make sure in a very certain manner that everything is actually safe. Because you have to realize that once the screening is over at the airport, people tend to buy, let's say, goods and like many stuff after all the screening immigration is done. So I think there's still a high tendency that people could actually take advantage of that and be able to, let's say, snuck in something that might not be appropriate for the flight. So I think aircraft screening is a must, and that is something that might also help us prevent in all those disasters or instances or circumstances that we might have seen in the past that has caused like breach of security or hijackers or anything that might have caused harm to people's lives in general, and even in on the brand of the aircraft or the airline as well. So that would be all for today. Hope you were able to understand something, and thank you for listening.